owner of the AWF, Call Superstar, 11-time tag team champion of the world. This egotistical bastard is ready to shoot the shit as Shawn Walsh presents The Shawn Walsh Show, where there is no holds barred.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ever so controversial Shawn Walsh Show, and I can now add the revolutionary Shawn Walsh Show, because we are making moves, making $1 million moves. Well, not quite, just maybe $20 news, but as you know, we have an upcoming episode of the Shawn Walsh Show in which I will be interviewing M Accuracy and the Alex Enterprise on video. The interview has been recorded. It is in the books. I have the file ready, and it will be coming out soon. The release of this interview, it depends on when Ultimate Glory comes out. If Ultimate Glory is out, because it was noted today that Ultimate Glory is coming out this week. So if Ultimate Glory is out like in the next few days, and me and my panelists can watch Ultimate Glory, then we will do the Ultimate Glory review this weekend. However, if Ultimate Glory comes out later in the week, then you will see part 1 of the interview. And either way, it's going to be great. Both are new things that I'm going to be doing. Both, whether it be a two guests that I have the interview on video, or whether it be a panel of people talking about Ultimate Glory. And also, I noted on the Call Shoe page quite a few days back that I was going to suggest some ideas to add to the show and give you, the people, the power to give your input and say what you think I should do with the show, because this may be the Shawn Walsh Show. My name's in the show, but this is just as much as your show as it is my show, as I believe in people power. So that's exactly what you're going to get. So I would really like if in the comments, or if you don't want your name to be there, you could even just message me and give me some ideas. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to absolutely go with every idea, because someone might have an idea like they want to see me make protein shakes on the Shawn Walsh Show every episode at the beginning of the episode, at the 3-minute mark. Well, as much as I would love to do that, there's probably a lot of other people who wouldn't care or don't think that's a good idea. So I'm open to all ideas. I'm not saying I'm going to go with it, but you have this opportunity to give me ideas and what I should add or even take away from the show. Ideas that have crossed my mind include such as I've been in talks with the Call Review Facebook page. You may have heard of it. I've been talking to them about possibly airing a 30-second to 1-minute audio of a review. It simply would be like what they would put on the page, but they'd be reading it, and I could use that as commercial for the Shawn Walsh Show. It'd be great advertisement for the Call Review page, and it would be in the realm of what the show's about. And the show's about Call. And speaking of that, is that what you want? Do you want the Call Review to have this little segment? Do you want this show to remain a Call-related podcast? Would you like the show to expand its horizon, maybe into Call and wrestling? The idea, for example, of an Extreme Rules review. Are you for that idea? Or are you against that idea? Would you like me to talk about other things that don't have to relate to Caw? Or would you like me to keep it strictly Caw? You have to let me know. I'm not saying I'm going to change up the show. I'm just throwing out ideas here, just to get your minds working. Other things I've thought of maybe adding to the show. Maybe in a few weeks we can add audio questions. I've seen other podcasts do it before, where they send audio questions. It'd be simple. You record maybe like a 30-second to 1 minute of you speaking. It'd be an MP3 file. You send it to me, email it to me, Facebook to me, whatever, and I would air it in the episode, and you would be able to ask your question, but it'd be coming from your point of view. It'd be coming from you. Would you be for that idea, or would you be against that idea? What are other things? Oh, advertisements. One thing I want to expand on the show eventually, and I'm not talking like next episode, but maybe in due time, is putting more advertisements on the show. Now I know the first thought, oh geez, commercials. Yeah, I know commercials suck. But I'm not looking to go put a Windex commercial in the show. I'm not looking to do that. Right now, this is a non-profit show, so why would I do that? The only reason I would have advertisement in the show is to help out other people out there. Such as, for example, you've seen in the past, I've had the Durga Burgers, a channel that I am associated with. Video game and podcast channel. I suggest if you haven't checked it out, go to it right now, youtube.com/Durga Burgers. And I've had like just a minute clip of, it's actually me talking, but of an advertisement telling everyone what to expect from the Durga Burgers channel. And that's something I'd be open to do for other shows. Not every show, but other shows. Like if you have a side thing going on, you let me know. Maybe we will work something out. Whereas I will air your commercial, your audio clip, or whatever it is on the show, and in return you would promote the Shawn Walsh Show. Because see, I believe in helping everyone out, but it goes both ways. So if I'm going to help you out, you're going to have to help me out. That's just how this works. It's fair, right? If you have things such as you work with music, well, maybe I would be open to the idea of playing your song on the show. And it's open to all different kinds of music. I don't have to particularly like it myself, but I know there are viewers out there that might listen. Like, for example, I don't like most rap music. However, I know there are people who watch the show who like rap music. So if you do rap, and maybe you just want your song, it could even be something simple like a 30-second portion. It could be the whole song. We could go all Chris Jericho podcast with this. We could do Talk is Jericho where he has Fozzy songs playing. I can do just the same thing. I would like a little something in return. It's fair. But I'm very open to helping everyone else out with their projects, because I think we need to work together to get to places. We can't be selfish. So I'm very open to that idea. If anyone has any side projects that they would like to work with me with in some kind of advertisement quote unquote deal, and I say quote unquote because we're not signing anything, it's just a message. Okay, sure, let me know. And that's all stuff that you can let me know if you like. If you don't like, let me know in the comments below. Message me. I don't care. Either way, find a way to let me know. If you have some ideas that I didn't even name, let me know. If there's something you like and you think I should add, please tell me. If there's something I do and you think is just terrible, I need to cut it, let me know. And I'm going to cut this part right here because we're about to get to the interview today with Daniel Mars, David Bentz, whatever you want to call him. He's a former podcaster / radio host himself. He had The Slam, which was a COH podcast. Got some backlash from that show when he did it. He still has some heat to this day because of how he did his podcast, and he's going to talk about that coming up. Also, we talk about his experience in YWF, such as his feud that he has with Jay Crack. Very interesting stuff. If you liked what Jay said about the feud with Daniel Mars on the last episode, you're going to like this. Also, he talks about COH, besides the fact of the Slam and all that went down there. He talks about the British accent. He talks about his brand new heel character that he is doing in COH, and also the Money in the Bank ladder match at Ultimate Glory. But I'm not going to give too much away. I'm going to let Daniel talk about that himself. Also, throughout the show, there's going to be an interruption. Maybe like somewhere from 50 minutes to like an hour, something like that. I don't know. Where I'm going to stop the interview and I'm going to give you guys a little sneak preview behind the scenes of my time down in Orlando with Alex and Democracy. It's not huge, but it's a cool thing. I'm doing it. Before we get to there, let's send it over to Daniel Mars. Alright everybody, welcome to the Shawn Walsh Show. And today, I'm joined by with a superstar you may know from COH, YWF, ACW, among other call shows. You may know him as Daniel Mars. Welcome to the show. David?
Hey, what's up, Shawn? How's it going?
It's going
How's
good.
It going? I'm really happy, not just to be on the show, but for you, you know? I mean, it feels really good to know that they took the ball where other people dropped it, and they just said, you know what, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to push this shit to the moon. I mean, like, you're doing this talk show thing, this podcast. I'm proud for you, and I mean, do you mind if I just openly, like, admit some stuff for a second?
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. I've done podcasts before in regards to call, and I have made mistakes. I openly admit that, but you know what? I tried it wasn't 100% my very best, but at the time, I will say my biggest flaw was that I just was so eager to just get something out and just be like, you know what? I think at the time I just wanted to have something said. And it was more so about just getting it out as fast as possible to the people over the quality and the quantity of the presentation of the show itself. So when I started getting critics and stuff, it was affecting my real life as well. And I'm the type of person, I'm not just like trying to, as a podcaster, I don't just like want to podcast and do something to entertain you. I also am a viewer of Call. And it's like, when I watch Call, I watch it for my own personal entertainment. I don't take notes when I watch. So that did bite me in the ass. The only thing I can say is, and it may take up some of your own personal time, if you're going to start doing Call reviewing in your podcast, you might have to watch a show twice.
Oh yeah, you got to get it down, make sure you don't miss anything.
Exactly. But congratulations on this.
Thank you. I know you had like you said, you had your dab at the, interviewing and podcast business. It didn't go too well towards the end there, but it had some good moments, and hopefully we'll have some more with this one. One of the things I remember towards the end that was a huge critic towards your show was a lot of people were getting on you for not knowing the product.
You see, that was the whole thing right there. I had a tendency. Okay, first of all, I'll openly admit this as well. I didn't start watching the COH product until I actually joined COH. So any call-related show, perfect example. I just started, like yesterday, I guess I'll call him by his real name, Calvin. I forgot his last name. The guy who runs MWE, Mega Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah.
All right. He signed me, and he just released his CPV Feast of Champions, and I made my debut. I didn't have a match, but if you check it out, you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm on the roster now. But bad news, I haven't watched the show prior to my debut, so I'm all new to this. And if I ever do any podcasts or stuff, I have to do my homework. So I might have to go back and start watching or just accept the fact that I'm new, So that was my mistake in regards to the podcast world. I didn't fully do my homework. Sometimes I knew certain shows that I watched, but it was a one and done type of deal. Like I watched it. It's like you watch Raw every week, but because you watch it so much, you can't remember every fucking episode,
Oh, yeah.
It's like, unless you're a podcaster where you might have to go back and watch something again or take notes, it's like I wasn't as professional and as prepared as I should have been. No one else was doing the podcast like this at the time, and I felt like, well, I mean, I don't have any competition. Nobody, I didn't really even care about that. It was just the thrill of having somebody to talk to about call and like getting it out there and just like kind of just contributing to the call world. That's what it all was. So I admit I made some mistakes, but I'm happy you're here to learn from them and to do better for yourself.
Yeah. So there's definitely positives out of it. Now, I want to go back a little bit before that. How did you get into call? What shows did you watch at first?
Oh my God. The interesting thing is I don't even know if you can consider it call, because of how the format was completely different from what it is now. It was more so on the entertainment base side. I started with, I don't even know like how I found it on YouTube. I mean, it's on YouTube still. They don't make any more new episodes, but have you heard of SMF?
Oh, SMF. I love SMF.
Yeah, the Story Mode Federation. How its format is completely different from how people do call now.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because SMF was completely, I mean, they say it right there, Story Mode Federation. They were just telling a story. What we do now here in the call world, I don't know if it just evolved or if it's a complete separate animal, because it's like, call for us is the jungle. We fight for our positions. We put in promos and stuff. SMF, you had like maybe 2 or 3 friends doing a complete show. Like they did voice work, they did commentary, they wrote scripts, but like they used celebrities. They made celebrity calls. I mean, like it was just one of the best things I've ever saw. It was hilarious. I think some of the gold of that show came in the form of the hardcore title, because they would use other game footage. They would use like Grand Theft Auto. One time Crash Bandicoot was a champion. I'm like, what the fuck? And another time they used footage they took at a convention dressed up as John McCain and Barack Obama.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
And so they did that for their big show called Bitchamania. It was just gold. It got me into it. I was like, you know what? I wish I could do this. And then one day they had their show. They had I think it was in 2011. They had Bitchamania 2011, and they had a Facebook like fan forum or whatever. And they just I got a chance to. I didn't tell them how to make my call or whatever. I just entered into a pool, and they like let different fans have a segment with the Hardcore Championship. So I won it, and I wasn't even fully a part of the roster. I just won it. Then from there, I took a look at other calls. I was already friends at this time with people such as Nate and I believe yourself. And I just started taking a look at other people's products. I was really entertained with what Nate did with
CWS.
It was CWS at the time, and I was like, you know what? I think I could do this. I want to take a crack at it. He gave me an opportunity, and all else, like, that's how it started.
Yeah, I remember that, because that's actually the first time I remember seeing you in call was with SMF. I didn't know that was actually your first time.
I didn't. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, the old days of call there. Oh, those are quite the days, and boy, have we come a far way since then. And I'd say overall for the better. And now you went to CWS, and
oh god,
that was an interesting experience.
I think CWS was an interesting experience for anyone who was a part of that roster. There was, like, speaking from a shoot standpoint here, that's when the line of fiction and nonfiction was hitting the wall, because some people didn't know how to stay in character. Yeah. And I'm not one to really name names, and it's not because of, like, fear. It's just, like, I'm not trying to open up wounds or... Yeah, I'm not trying to open up old wounds. All I'm going to say is some people didn't know how to just keep it, how to act professional with it. And it's just like, it got to the point where it became the in thing to troll someone, and then when that person finally fought back, everybody took that person's side. I fell victim to this stuff. I off and on kind of quit CWS, or I was fired, came back, and then CWS eventually closed down and got rebooted as WCW. So, yeah.
Now, one of the things you did in CWS, which for both, professional and personal reasons, I know you were not a fan of, was the whole thing with KK Banks, which I found stupid, but...
Wait, are you talking about aligning with him or feuding with him?
Both.
The whole feud, how that simply started was, this guy thought he was like God. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the gimmick. I don't know if he just instantly thinks he's one of the best person in the world. I don't know this guy. Anytime his voice has ever hit audio, it's not his actual voice. He's using some form of voice impulator or whatever to alter his voice. So, in my opinion, I have said this in the past, I don't know if it's true or not, anybody could be KK Banks. Anyone. You could deep your voice, you could tweak it so it's auto-tuned, whatever. That's just how KK Banks was. And he in terms of the feud with him, he thought he was bigger than the entire roster. He thought that instantly he deserved title shots for the world title or whatever. And I'm just like, dude, you lost to me in my opening match. Like, you lost to a rookie. You really think you deserve this? And, like, I guess he took it offensive because, like, memes were made and, like, hurtful words were said. And then it got to the point where you're going to start really, like making some very offensive, out of character things that we shouldn't really get into.
Oh yeah, we're not going to get into that because I know it got quite personal.
Yeah, it got personal to the point where, I mean, there were either two choices. You either, like, remove yourself from the situation, or the other person does the same, or both people got to get removed. And I think I more so fell victim to that than KK. I don't think KK ever got fired, released, or quit CWS or WCW. So I don't know if there's favoritism or what. I don't know. I don't care. That's the past.
Yeah.
So I just want to leave it at that in regards to KK Banks. Other than that, I will finish with this one point because I did align with him for a short time. I felt that, like, it would have been a good idea. It's like nobody would have seen it coming. You always want to try to do something different in wrestling. Be different. Why? Like, did anybody see Matt Hardy teaming with MVP?
Oh no.
Exactly. So like when it happened, it was gold. I literally thought, this is someone I hate. Why don't I get into the tag team division? Because as a singles competitor, I'm being booked to be the victim of beatdown against the Trocalypse. That was Rudo, the Bone Duster, and who do you remember who else was in that group?
It was Bone Duster. It was Rudo. It was there was some other guy. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the other guy. But fact of the matter is, it was like a 3-on-1 situation, and I didn't know if that was just going to be my story. I didn't really there wasn't a layout for me there, and so I tried to just come up with an idea. And apparently, how that played out was I tagged with KK, and KK lost. I tagged with KK, and KK lost, and yet at the same time, KK got put in the Rumble because World War happened, and we got our tag team title shots against you guys. Somehow.
Yeah, I remember. That was an interesting set of opponents we had. We weren't. I remember me and Carol didn't think that, but we did fight at World War.
World War. Yeah, I just didn't understand. He didn't tag me in at all. And, I mean, I don't know if there was just, like, that was the plan. I don't know if he was still angry at me. Whatever. But he didn't tag me in. I didn't, like, leave the ring. So I was there. I was ready to fight. But how is it that the same guy who didn't tag his partner in, who lost his opportunity for the tag belts, also gets a spot in the Rumble, or the World War match, and then blames it all on me. You know, so in regards to KK, he's like Pandora's box. You never know what you're gonna get with this guy. So I've distanced myself from him. I don't talk to him.
Probably the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, and that's just how it is with KK. Whatever he's up to, it's whatever he's up to. If he's still involved with Call whenever WCW makes its comeback, then do what you got to do, KK. Do what you got to do.
Are you in WCW? I don't. I know they made a comeback last year.
They made a comeback last year, and technically, I am their hardcore champion. When WCW came back and was doing Nitro and Thunder, I was in a ladder match, and Mr. Carter came out, made the speech, and he signed me, put me in a ladder match. I forget against who, but the only two things I remember about that night that he made that announcement, he said he was giving everybody a fair chance, and the other thing, he came out dressed like Bill Cosby. Mm-hmm. I still have the title. It's not under 24/7 rules, but KK apparently made the challenge to. He's currently the United States champion, and he's like, I want more gold. So he called me out. I don't know if we're having a match whenever a CPV is supposed to be. WCW, it's up in the air. Whenever it comes back, I'll definitely be back a part of it. So that's how I feel about that. Mr. Carter is a good boss. He's fair. I will say that.
Well, we'll see what happens if and when WCW makes a comeback.
All right.
Now, let's go into another show that you were also in. That being ACW.
Oh God. ACW isn't just. This was challenging because this wasn't just the first call show where like I knew I had a layout. This was like I knew what was going to happen with my character and stuff. This was the first show where I basically ran it. Mm-hmm. Like I was put in a position one day because this was before. I don't know if this was right before I started in COH or not, but in ACW, this was after I got released from WCW. CWS, and I just got a message one day from this guy, Justin, and he was just like, yeah, I've seen your work. I think he was in the group page for CWS or something. He was trying to get started with Call. He's like, why don't you just come work with me? You seem like a good guy. And he gave me a chance. And originally, it was just me and him. We would talk and like we would do commentary together. We decided who would get what push. We just had one rule because we also each had our own character on the show. He had Rochambeau and I had The Extreme, who I was also formerly wrestling under as in CWS. And I was just like, here's the rule, dude. Whatever happens, because we're putting in the work as the guys telling the story. This has to be about other people. We cannot be the top guys. I'm not going to be Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be the guy who's just gonna. It's my show, so I'm instantly on top. That doesn't make sense. It pisses people off. It's like it's the wrong kind of booking. The most I've done was I feuded for a belt. I feuded with Peter Gilmore, so for the hardcore belt, and I mean. But I added creativity to these situations. It's like, okay, the hardcore title, we wanted it to be a hardcore title. It had 24/7 rules, but the only way you could win the belt was by KO.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, it had to be different. We wanted things to be different. We focused on new guys. We brought in some old guys. It was like, if we were going to bring someone in who's already doing Call, they have to create. I don't want to see Von Hollywood in ACW. I told Vaughn that. It was like, I pitched it, but he was like, no, man, I want to bring in something new. So he brought in Vonnie Piper, who was like, he was like an adult porn star, you know, he was Val Venus of Call. And so I was down with that. Little did I know that Marco Rose had sexual ginger, going in YWF, doing the same skit, but we worked with it. Commentary was just priceless for us. We didn't have a script. We just went with the show. And, like, we had a good time. ACW was a good time, but the fact that it, like, I don't know where it went wrong and why we just didn't keep going. He changed it, and he was like, he tried to, like, make a brand split or whatever. That was Justin's decision. I was just like, it's hard to argue when you're not the person doing the capture card shit. Like, I don't have the materials for that. So it's like, I can only I can only say so much. It's like, if I can pitch good story ideas and come up with some good stuff, but if at the last minute when he's got to record the footage, if he wants to change a player or whatever, I can't argue with that because it's like, if okay, you run AWF, right?
Yes.
And if you put me on your creative team to help with storylines or whatever, and one day I just got fed up with a decision, like you changed your mind about a decision on the day that you're recording,
right?
You can literally throw it in my face and be like, if you're not happy with it, why don't you record?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh yeah.
See, that's the whole point right there. I don't have the materials to record. I'm working on that because I really want to get ACW back. I'm putting some, I am putting some money aside to get all the right materials. So it's just like, it's a matter of time for me. It's, that was fun. Like, ACW for me just it kind of reminded me of SMF because it was like, if you can do it as, like, it's not work, it's just fun, then you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
That's the way I looked at it. But ACW, it tried to change too much, and then, like, we tried to reboot and do AWA, which was going to be, like, cause territory. We were going to do territorial and, like, do, like, 3 different territories. And I had this perfect idea of how it was going to work. We were going to kind of be like independents. And I told Justin, I was like, listen, this is what we should do. We'll build up some stars, and then, like, at every other CPV, guys who want to go to, like, COH or any of the more successful brands will create a call of the owner. and we'll put him in the front row because like you can do that with using the create a storyline feature, and we'll have him as a scout. Nobody does that. So you literally are building up a character in one fed to hype them arriving in another. And like that's how I wanted to use it, but that went nowhere. I think Justin had some problems going on in his personal life because not only did that go wrong, but SPW went totally wrong. And
oh yeah.
If you, I don't know if you were on the roster or just in the group page or a viewer.
I wasn't on the roster.
Okay, but
yeah.
You know of it. Okay, for those who don't know, Justin came up with this idea that he thought seemed fair to have most of the matches for SPW not be predetermined, but be CPU versus CPU.
Simulated.
And what? Yeah, to be simulated. So whoever won just won. Now, I wasn't even scheduled to be the very first SPW champion. I was just scheduled to be in the match. Spoiler alert for those who don't know, Levi McIntyre was supposed to win that championship. And there was a big storyline scheduled around him. So at the time, I was booked as a face, and out of the blue, I won the belt. So I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? That's what everybody's thinking. And a lot of people I know, they're not going to say it to my face, but I just know people probably think this guy got the belt because he's butt buddies with Justin. You know, it's like that's the only way he'll ever get the world title anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's completely not true. He didn't know who was going to win. I didn't know who was going to win. But the whole point is that it happened, and I had to work around it. So I thought the best thing to do was to become a heel. I've never done heel work before. And I talked to Justin. I was like, dude, you have like this new movement of people. And around this time, I just got started. When I got the belt in ACW, this is when I took a break in COH. Plus, I just got signed in YWF. So I'm like, dude, if you got me as the champion, and you want me to be a heel, you are gonna love what I'm about to do. So I was like, we have Marco Rose, since he was feuding with Rochambeau, I believe at the time in SPW, and I'm like, why don't you bring in Chronix and have me aligned with J-Crack? These are all YWF people, so we could kind of make it seem like they're not, like maybe invading, and it's just like, I don't know what he was thinking and how it went about, but there was all this hype, and then my first title defense, like I just lost the belt, and like it shouldn't have happened that way. It was all simulated, and it just, I still look at that and I'm just like, damn. But I mean, at least I get to throw it in people's face. I mean, it's like, hey, at least I got the title of world champion under my belt. That's an accomplishment that happened. You know?
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. At least you got the strap, and it kind of goes to show that for people who want to do the simulation, I know, yes, it makes it more fair, but the game doesn't always make the best choice.
No, it doesn't. So I mean, like they say in like the WWE, anything can happen. Well, anything can happen if you simulate. So don't simulate. To tell a good story, you have to already know an outcome.
Mm-hmm. And then SPW and ACW, all projects with Justin Collins. Now Justin Collins seems to be gone.
In regards to Call, I've tried to message him, and he doesn't reply. We're still friends on Facebook and stuff, but it's just like he's distanced himself from that. I don't know if he had personal problems. One thing that kind of upset people was we tried to create a creative team and just like hear out different people's ideas who were on the roster, and just hear like, well, what do you want to do? And like let's try to get you a story, because it's like we didn't want to just have people who like were nowhere, you know, and then like be like, you know what, fuck this. It's like we wanted everybody to feel special. So it's like we listened to people, and a lot of people had a lot of good ideas. We always had like we always tried to make it so everybody who was in the forum at the time that had a discussion came to a mutual agreement. But it was just like too many cooks in the kitchen. Eventually, it just didn't work out, and if I could bring any of that back, I would not bring back SPW. I would either bring back ACW in its originality, or I would do AWA again and do it right, because AWA was supposed to be. I'm not going to say it was supposed to be like what NXT is for WWE, but it was supposed to be kind of like the indie scene of Caw, and but I wanted it to tie in to any Caw fed that felt like it was a major big deal. So like one CPV you can who's do you just have do you go by Mr. Walsh as the owner of AWF, or do you have a specific GM type of guy, or because I haven't really been watching.
The
like
AWF?
I'm trying. Yeah, in AWF. I'm trying to use an example here.
Well, yeah, I have my Shawn Walsh character who is the owner. Well,
all right, so like maybe one day. Okay, well, what I'm trying to say is basically one event you may have Shawn Walsh at an IWA event, and he's just scouting, there's rumors that like one of these new guys who have never worked in AWF, they might be heading over. And so it's like, I wanted it to be a big deal. I wanted to make sure that like when people come into, like, you know how the Great D was hyped in COH?
Right.
That's how I wanted everybody to feel when they left. I wanted it to be like, oh shit, this is going to be somebody. And like it was the preparation ground. I wanted them to be ready because like when you go into those places like YWF, when you go into COH, it's like, I mean, I'm trying my best, but there are some guys that are like, they know what they're doing. And when they do it well, that's like, there's a reason why that's the person who's on top. And like that's exactly what it is, you know, and it's just like, for people who want to join these feds, more power to them, but it's just like, you got a lot of improvement if you really want to become like the headliner.
Oh yeah, it's going to take a lot of work. I mean, when you're in a show, like say someone went to COH, you're going to work hard, but the Alex Enterprise is going to be the top guy because of how good he is.
Exactly. I mean, and it's not even about skill, really. I mean, like, the only person who, and this is in cult, period, the only person who, like, skill-wise or look-wise or whatever, like, has to keep it up is Mocha Bane in YWF, because that guy looks like his character. This guy is jacked. And it's just like, nobody really looks like how their character does, you know? Yeah. So it's like, that's really cool that you're able to do that, and like that's part of your reputation. It's just like, what I'm trying to say is, it's like a lot of times people put in way more. They put 200 on 10, you know, and it's like, what that means is, when really all someone might want from you is just a promo. If like you're not just giving a promo, you're giving a video package telling a story. It's like, that is why you gotta push, you know, you are doing something for the viewer. You're not just doing something to say some words, to express some feelings. It's like, you're doing something to tell a story, and that's a big part of Call.
Oh, absolutely. You brought up Mocha Bane, and you brought up YWF, so it's a good segue here. YWF, you got Daniel Mars over there. A little bit different than the COH Daniel Mars.
Completely different. I got interest. I'm forgive me. It's just like, I'm still trying to remember if it was me who asked to. I know I asked to join COH. I asked Travis, and the irony in that is, I remember in CWS, I got into it with Travis, and I didn't even know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't know that the guy who's the Sabsis was running COH. But I don't remember if it was me asking Marco or if he asked me if I wanted to join. But nonetheless, I ended up debuting in YWF, and I love how I was used, because day one I won Money in the Bank, but it wasn't there. Like, they did a Money in the Bank for a mid-card title, so it worked out, and I appreciate the gesture. It's like, around the time that I joined YWF, I felt like I needed that type of treatment because I wasn't getting it in COH.
Yeah.
And I'll get into COH later, but it's just like, they have their own plan, but in YWF, like, they're a little less, they're not always open to, like, Marco and Chronics aren't always open for communication, but when they are, they try to hear everybody out and create a layout. They know what they're going to do for the entire, like, season, as they call it. And it's just like, they have a plan. They have a plan of their main story. They may have to change a few little things, but, like, the end game came, and I mean, like, I'm their ex-elite champion still, and my main feud is with oh man, Jay Crack. When we do, if we're gonna do word affiliation like you did with Sonny, that name definitely is gonna come up.
Oh, he's coming up.
I will not be able to sum him up in 2 words because, damn, he's creative. I'll give him that, but wow. All I'm gonna say is, if you're not on the group page and you're listening to this, like, if you don't follow YWF, watch the last season. Like, watch the last season. Follow if you're interested in me, follow the Daniel Mars character, and damn, I'm like, you will be intrigued with where this character, not so much where I'm going, but what I'm dealing with. Oh man, it's just J Crack, man, J Crack.
Yeah, that was something. Now, I want to talk about, like, a certain element of that story with Jay. And no, I'm not going to talk about when he fucked the belt, but,
yeah.
One of the things he mentioned, and you just correct me if I'm wrong on this, you guys were feuding, said that that you raped him. However, you responded back with, it wasn't you, it was your twin brother who raped him.
See, that's the whole thing. You see, like, what we're trying to do is now, and this is the tough part in regards to communication with Marco, is I don't even know if he's going to follow through with that. But in regards to what's being said backstage and how we're trying to book it where I'm not going heel. J Crack is trying to bring out my dark side, and I'm trying to fight back with some mind games. But it's not gonna work, because it's like, yeah, I revealed that I have a twin brother who is like my long lost twin brother. Like, I finally met him, and he's like, so he wants to prove his loyalty. Like, he wanted to prove his loyalty to me in regards of, like, man, I haven't seen you, I've never met you before, and it's like, I want to be a part of your life now. And so it was like, the idea was to prove that was to, like, well, I have this briefcase, and I need to get under the champion's skin, and I know he's gay, and it just so happens to be that my twin brother is gay. You know, so I didn't rape him.
Well, yeah, we know that. I mean,
I didn't rape him.
Yeah.
I didn't lick no scrotum. That's what my brother William did. So.
Oh, my. Now, one thing I remember, because I've talked about this with other people, and it seems like a lot of the feud, it was like you and Jay coming up with some of your stuff because you guys you were presented with a feud, but weren't given some of the meat and bones. So you guys added your own elements to it. And I remember when Jay said that, and one thing that me and some other people didn't understand was why you didn't just say, "Oh, I didn't rape him."
Because it's such a heel thing to do. And it's just like, the idea here is that Daniel Mars isn't trying, you have J Crack, whose character is trying to bring out the utmost darkest side in Daniel Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Mars is trying to fight that. But, like, in a way, his darkness has kind of been released, but at the cost of manipulation. It brings up the quality of manipulation because I was able to use my own brother, and it shows how low I would go just for the belt, you know? But it's like, I'm still a face because at the same time, throughout all this, you gotta remember, Kerry Perry is in the middle of all this. Mm-hmm. And he's fallen victim to accusations of, like, how he was molested as a child. J Crack has brought this up on YWF. And it's like, this is all leading up to, apparently it hasn't been, this should be coming up on the next YWF show, whenever that may be. There's going to be a challenge, and me and him are we're gonna have I'm gonna give him his rematch for the title at Anarchy Rules, but we have a very special stipulation, and I know in I'm trying to think which game he uses, because he doesn't use 2K14, so it's either 13 or 12. But there are Singapore canes in the game. And so we're going to do what I haven't seen before done, is I'm challenging J Crack to a Singapore cane match.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it's not just a regular, like, oh, we get to use this as a weapon, whoever wins, wins. It's like, no, what's going to happen is whoever loses this match gets caned by whoever wins this match once the other, like we're going to pick somebody to cane each other. And like me and Jay, we have this planned out perfectly. Jay is part of this faction, and it's like, he's part of, it's Ravishing Inc. with, Ravishing Mike McGregor and, Sonny's character, Sonny Koufax, who's basically a big white version of Razor Ramon. Mm-hmm. And, so you got those three guys, and the idea is that Jay's this crazy psychopathic badass. So what if Jay loses? He gets humiliated. I wanted him to be humiliated, and so I wanted his teammates to cane him. But Jay threw it back at me, and he's like, "Well, what if you lose?" And I mean, I'll lose the belt, but it's like, he wants it to be deep. So it's like, if I lose, Kerry Perry has to cane me. And that's my best friend in YWF. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to tell a story. We're trying to turn chicken shit into chicken salad. And that's the best I can say in regards to YWF with Kerry Perry. With J Crack. I really hope everything turns out all right. If it doesn't, it's okay. Because YWF is fun. YWF is the only call-fed right now where you can use things like rape and murder and farting and whatever to just, like, put a smile on people's face.
Yeah. Alright, that's YWF. Now, also, Daniel Mars is known for being in COH.
Oh my god. Now, I have to explain something in regards to COH. The whole Daniel Mars character was invented to completely be 100% what I am not in regards to my normal characters. It's like when I was in ACW, when I was in CWS, when I was in WCW, I would always go by The Extreme. I would always try to play off as this house party, like, life of the party guy. I'd like dance or like play some rap music, whatever. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be that guy, and I knew one thing from watching, because I've seen snippets, I've seen like promos and stuff for COH, and I was like, the one thing I can't do is I don't want to rip off anything that's really going on right now. So in pro wrestling, at the time you had Ultimate Glory just happened, and this was after Ultimate Glory. Nate just won the world title.
Yeah.
Now he was Bully Nate. That was his gimmick. He was ripping off Bully Ray in TNA.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, and if he's offended by me saying that, it's just like you're copying a gimmick, and like that's what people are doing is like they copy someone else's gimmick and like they tweak it. MWE has Root Beer Money Inc. I wonder who they copied.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like the idea, and I get heat for just trying to be creative and unique. Was I said, how about I create like this rock star model-esque character from the UK, and I was going to be the UK sensation. And at the time, I was listening to like Beatles music, and I was just singing along one day, and I used a British accent, and I was just like, I decided to talk like this, and that this would be my voice, you know, and I was like, nobody's really doing an accent, you know, no one's like altering their voice for their character that much, you know, to that extent, and I was just like, I pitched it to Travis, and he was like, okay, and I decided that's going to be Daniel Mars, and then it didn't work, because everybody hated it. Unfortunately, when someone who is not really British gets booked to feud with someone who is British, it pisses the real British people off.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like that's Travis's way of, and I don't know if he did that on purpose or what. I don't know if Scott sees it as a slap to the face or what, but it happened, and I had a feud with Scott, and man, it was just like everybody started to get pissed off that I was using this. I started to become stale. I didn't really have that much of a character, and it just like I eventually needed a break. I was like I said, Justin wanted me for SPW. He booked me as the world champ, so I had to start putting focus in on that, and I also just started. And I was getting, like, one reason why I eventually quit last year at People Power and I left COH was, there were three things. One, I was getting positive, like, I was finally getting a positive reaction, in call and, like, being booked. Not so much the way that I want to be booked, but the way I felt like I should be booked. Like, because I'm a good person. It's like, it's not so much as, oh, I'm working my ass off, so pay me, you know, give me my reward. It was just like, this is a nice person, give him a shot, you know. I got a shot in COH, but I felt like the shot that I got, winning at Ultimate Glory, you know, winning the Internet Championship the way that I did, you know, it wasn't skill, you know, it was kind of chance. And it was like, to be booked as like, this guy has skills, he's able to use them. I appreciated it going into YWF. I appreciated, even though I didn't know what the fuck Justin was doing at the time, I appreciated getting a shot at becoming world champion and like having to kind of work with it to like become a heel. And I had to leave COH at the time, but when I came back, now that's when I started thinking. That's when I started thinking, but it kind of caused some problems. Yeah. Two people who, well, I don't know if it was just bad booking or what, but I got kind of put in the middle between Justin Bateman and Stephon Guerrero.
Mm-hmm.
And they were feuding, and they kind of still are feuding. Like, they basically had a year-long feud, and the idea of putting me in the top... It wasn't even just, like... I don't know if Justin was being in character or out of character, but he was being a complete asshole on the Facebook page. And before I was even set to come back, and Travis, I just told Travis, I was like, when I come back, I want him. Please book me in a match. And I had a plan, and I was like, Travis, it wasn't even to be selfish. It was just like, Travis, he's a former world champion. You're bringing me back. I know he's feuding with Guerrero, and this has nothing to do with that feud. But book me to win. Book me to win this match, and then have it from my return at Ready to Rumble, on to the go home show or whatever. Book me to beat former world champions. Rather it be by hook or crook. And I promise you, that will work as it's like when Bobby Lashley qualified for Money in the Bank. I wanted to be the dark horse going into Money in the Bank. The guy who beat all these champions, has the most chance of winning. But I told Travis, if you do all that, don't let me win Money in the Bank. Because that makes sense. It has to be shock value. And it's that's what I envisioned as good storytelling, but it didn't go the way it went. And it's now I'm a heel. I am heel Daniel Mars. People don't fully understand the character that I'm going for. I can't tell you everything about my character because some big changes are about to happen. But the idea is that I just turned my back on COH because it's when I was a part of COH, we were dealing with the One Bully Nation. Mm-hmm. And you were in it.
Yes, I was. And
as a face, I find it as complete and utter bullshit that I fought for the company, and once the group finally is no more, Travis just hires them all. Not all of them, but he basically hires them all back. All the people who still contribute to Call.
Yeah.
Vaughn, he's not doing Call, so it's that's why he didn't come back. Nathan Roberts, he came back, but then he got let go.
Yeah.
So it's people who were in the group came back, and I didn't understand it. And it's that's kind of a big part of it. It's outside of Nate the Great, a.k.a. Bully Nate, who had a legitimate reason to stay in COH. He has what is it called? Ironclad contract, thanks to Johnny Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got that, and I'm just all right, man. I'll give him a free pass, but everybody else who was ever a part of that, it's I'm mad. My character is mad in COH because of the fact that everybody who seemingly was a heel is turning face, and the crowd is buying this bullshit of Kevin. All Kevin Crisis did was change his name, and now you love him.
Right.
It's people wonder why I wear face paint, which I'm not going to do anymore. But it's it was because of the Mutatron thing. I wanted to get inside Calvin Barcelot's head and be well, you beat Daniel Mars in a match, but can you beat yourself in a match? Mm-hmm. And he couldn't. So it's that's kind of my character. It's not only am I'm kind of going into a mental place where it's I want to remind all these people who you are cheering for really are. So it's if I'll say it right now, you book me in a match with Nate the Great, I'm going to come out dressed as Bully Nate. I will come out to the OBN theme, and I will shove it down your throat that this guy was a heel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. And that's the character that Daniel Mars is supposed to represent. Now, where Travis wants to go with that's up to him.
All right. Now with that, I'm going to go into some fan submitted questions.
There actually were fan submitted questions. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. I got some fans out there. With the Daniel Mars gimmick, do you prefer working him as a face or a heel?
See, this is it's tough because it's like I'm starting to enjoy this heelness. This is my first real serious heel run. Like when I was a heel in SPW, I didn't really get the chance to fully be the heel. It's like I built myself up. Looks like someone's deciding to make a call on the side. I'm going to hang up on that person. Whatever. Anyways, so I just like the whole run in SPW as a heel. It was a joke. I'm gonna admit it. It was a joke. It didn't work out. SPW is SPW. But just seeing how it's playing out here in COH, it's like I'm starting to like this. It feels good. Like if anybody is a face and never was a heel, you have to try to go a heel. You just got to at least go heel at least once in your life because it actually feels good. You get to bring out all the frustration. You have stuff to build off of. If you are the guy on the lowest part of the totem pole, and you are a face, there's a lot of built-up frustration. You're angry that you're not even really getting a chance. Now, I was given a chance. It didn't go the way I want. But my frustration, my anger, everything that I've seen in the company, it's like, even though I have to separate myself as a viewer and as someone who competes for the company, I get to use my viewer side and feel it as anger. It's like, why the fuck are you like why the fuck is Shawn Walsh in COH? This is one of the guys who tried to tear down the company.
Right.
It's like that's my attitude that I have to bring to the table as a heel. Now, the thing that I don't make sense is that like in character, you have people like Scott Adams who still want to come at me, and it's like, dude, I'm a fucking heel too. Now shut up. You know, it's like why. I'm not saying we have to be best friends, but it's like, why do you have to come? If you're going to come at me in character, then it kind of doesn't make sense. Heels are heels. They're supposed to hate the faces. That's how storytelling works. But, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to another question. How do you pick your theme songs? And we're going to find that out in just a few moments. Daniel Mars will let us know how he selects his music. But before we get to that, we're going to get sidetracked just for a little bit to give you guys what you guys have been waiting for since the beginning of the show. So for me to let you guys know a little behind the scenes of what happened when it comes to meeting up with Steve and Alex. So I'm going to let you guys know. I'm not going to give you guys every little detail. This will take forever. Make it quick. We met at Universal. Had some fun for a while. Did the rides. Did all that kinds of stuff. Just really fun time. We ate the Simpsons place. And I bought one of the donuts. And the reason why I bring up donuts, you're going to find out in the Shawn Walsh show with them on there. Speaking of which, we recorded it, and we recorded it in their place, and we had it where we set it in the corner where they were set up and each sitting in a chair, and we set up the camera to where the camera was on the briefcase. So unfortunately, you're going to see throughout the show it's a little shaky because I'm sitting on the side on the bed asking the questions, and you're going to see that it's a little shaky. And you know what? Nothing we could do about it. If it's that much of an issue to you, do what you probably do with every other episode. You probably do for every other episode is you listen, and you're off on other websites. You're looking at Facebook. You're looking at WrestleZone.com or NoDQ or whatever while you're listening. If it's that much of an issue to you, then fine. You can still listen. Although at some point you're going to have to watch because there's stuff that we do that you have to see, and it's an interesting and different look at it. So I would watch, even if it's a little shaky. Whatever. It's a great interview. I mentioned earlier it was 3 hours. It's so long, but it was great. I don't want to give too much away with the interview because the interview's coming up. So I'm not gonna let you guys know much. However, I am going to give you a little bit behind the scenes of what occurred yesterday. This would be yesterday, Saturday. Myself, the owner COH Travis, who I had on the show, Steve M Accuracy, who was going to be on the show, and Kenyon Phoenix, who was also on the show in the past. We all got together. We all met up, and we had some fun. Now it was a little bit delayed due to circumstance, but we made the best of it, and we were out like all day, hung out. We ate at White Castle. I was a victim of racism. Apparently, according to the Spanish lady behind the cash register, I'm so white. Her words, and apparently, according to everyone else, she's not wrong. She isn't, but yeah, we recorded some fun stuff. Some stuff I'm not allowed to say yet, but you'll see. I can tell you more later on, a little inside scoop, but I will say this. I did record some things, and we recorded a new commercial for COH, which you're going to see coming up soon, and I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but hey, you know what, whatever. If I get in trouble, it's what I'm used to, so it's whatever. Sorry, Travis. But that's all the insight I can give you for right now. When the time is right, I'll give you a little bit more insight on commercial and other things that happened. I'm not gonna tell you everything, but I'll tell you some things when the time is right. And now it is time to find out how Daniel Mars selects his music. So Daniel, how do you select your music?
This is a very interesting question. It's like I'm very multicultural when it comes to my music, but it's like I have to feel it. It's like it has to, like, okay. First theme for COH was "Ready to Go" by Republica. It's like when I decided, okay, I'm gonna be this UK sensation. I'm gonna be like a model type-esque rock star. It's like I knew instantly, okay, this is not, like, I have to basically eliminate everything that D Extreme was. D Extreme was the house party. D Extreme was the rap star. And it's like, I need to go into a new genre. And it's like, when I picked something like Ready to Go, it's like, it's kind of outdated, but it's like, when you hear it, you feel it, you know? And it's like, that's the whole thing. When you, like, some songs that people pick, you don't feel it. But it's like, it's gotta be something that feels good. It's like, when I was in CWS, I used the song nobody even heard of before, you know, but it's like, I did that for two reasons. So, one, to be different. Two, so there wasn't a copyright infringement. You know, it's like, nobody has ever heard of Mark Wahlberg singing Don't Sleep, you know, so, that's why I used it. It was different. But, so, I try to be a little bit different. Sometimes I like to try to give people the good feeling of, well, I haven't heard that in a while. So, like, for example, the new Daniel Mars theme. I'm using a remix of Edge's old theme, Never Gonna Stop. But it feels dark. And that's why I like it. Like, if Daniel Mars is going into a dark place and he's kind of this rocker, it's like, it's gotta be in that category. I don't want something bland. I don't want a Scott Adams theme. The fact that Scott Adams' theme got nominated for Theme of the Year and mine didn't, and I don't give a fuck what AJ Young says, is bullshit. Because it's like, wow, AJ Young, you just sampled AJ Styles' theme. Wow, you know, it's like, that's what people are listening to now when they tune into ROH. But, like, I used something that people really did like it, like, back in the day, and they probably haven't heard in a long time. So, like, that's why I've chose what I chose now. As for YWF, at first they were using Ready to Go, but I was like, you know what? I completely did a 180 in YWF. I was like, dude, my name is Daniel Mars, and I want to be different from what I'm doing in COH. So instead of being Daniel Mars, the model, the rock star, make me this guy who believes he's an alien. Make me believe I'm out of this world. So I changed it up. I went with this beat that's kind of outer limits. And, like, that's where I'm at. But, like, that's how I choose my music. It's got to fit me, but it's also got to be something that's going to leave the viewer with, hey, I like this guy's theme.
Right. Right now, currently, in regards to booking, who has the better booking, COH or YWF?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Because of what position I'm in both shows right now are really good. I can't really decide. I can say this, however, I don't know if it's tough because it's like, okay, I'm doing a shoot, so this is, it's not to be offensive, but it's just like, this is reality. People have a real life outside of call. And I guarantee you, if Marco and Chronix had the time, and they put even more time than they do now into call, like, they would be communicating with the roster even more, you know? But they don't. You know, what time they do put in, they put in. They either produce a product, or whenever they have a free moment, they'll talk to me or whoever. So, but they do put on a good show. But Travis, despite the fact that he has his own life, you can still talk to him. You can message him at any time. You can pitch an idea. It may not always go through, but he'll listen to you. I'm not saying Marco doesn't. Travis just does it a lot more. So because of that, I got to go with Travis.
Okay, all right.
And COH.
All right, Travis and COH. 3 guys in COH. Actually, well, not even just 3. You know, because we'll eliminate the number. Rising guys in COH, you think Travis should give a shot at the world title or just even the main event scene?
You know, that's excluding myself.
Sure.
Because I'm not going to be selfish here. I'm not going to be selfish and just say, "Oh, Daniel Mars," because there are a lot of there's talent on the show. There is. But if I got to pick any 3 people outside of Daniel Mars, and there are people better than me, I'm going to go with Stephon Guerrero. This guy, despite the fact that he uses Brock Lesnar's theme, Tron, and basically his moveset, he has the look of a badass. He cuts promos like a badass. He just is a badass. So I can really see Stephon Guerrero as champion. The unlikely one, I almost said Uncle Lester, Lester Barkley. His story is very good of how far he's changed and stuff, and I think his story is only going to get better. So, the perfect thing I could say about Lester Barkley is that I just like, I don't know, it's just like with Lester, you gotta, man, this is tough. It's tough. With Lester, you just gotta follow the story of, like, if you could follow Uncle Lester from day one to what he is now. Some people don't know how to shut up. Mess up the audio. Can you edit that out, Shawn?
Oh, I had my mic on mute for a second. I'll take that out.
Okay, thank you. Just re-ask the question. I'll do it again.
Okay. rising guys in COH, you think Travis should give a chance at the world title or the main event scene?
Okay. I'll give you three. There's Stephon Guerrero, and I'm going to say Stephon because he's just a tough son of a bitch. It's just like he's got the look. He's got in-ring ability that really shows that, like, this guy outside of the ring would hurt you. And he's proved it if you look at everything that he's done to Justin Bateman. His promos are very cut dirt, and so it just all works. It's like he's a badass. It's like if Brock Lesnar could talk, basically. It's like if you had a guy like Brock Lesnar, not so much with the mouth of Paul Heyman, but at least enough where he didn't need him. That's Stephon Guerrero. And that's somebody who needs a championship. Other than him, I'm going to go with Lester Barkley because of his story. It's like, you understand that new video that's out right now, Wrestling Isn't Wrestling? How, like, they said if you follow one character's story from day one, then, like just the whole journey alone is worth it. Like how they explain with Triple H. I'm not saying Lester Barkley is Triple H at all. I'm just saying that what we've seen with this guy has been totally, totally worth it. And it's like, I think it's only the beginning of a complete journey. I'm not saying this guy deserves the belt tomorrow. And I know he's in Money in the Bank. Will he win it? I don't know. But I'm just saying, this is somebody who's really worth the investment. It's like, he's improved. It's like, when you start out, you're going to suck. I mean, people are really lucky if right at the beginning they're awesome. But, like, Lester, I mean, like, I didn't like his promos at first. He's improved. He's improved his attitude, his mic skills. Whole 9 yards. He's a totally different person from day one, Uncle Lester. And it's like, he's worth it. And a third person, oh man, it's tough because it's like, a part of me wants to say TJ Profit, but I can't, no offense, man, but I can't stand your promos. I don't know if it's your foreign accent or what, but it's like, the reason I want to root for you is because you're a COH original who hasn't made it. You know, you know what? No, I'm not going to go with TJ. I'm going to go with, fuck, he's retiring. No, I was going to say Copeland. Fisk. I'm going to go with Fisk.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Fisk because, like, with Fisk, you can do two things. You can either you can play this guy off as a dominant monster continually for his entire career, but the only problem is if you do that, you need to bring in more monsters. This guy's like Godzilla. You can't just have him face the city always. It's like you got to bring in a monster every movie to fight this guy, which can be a problem. But it's like that's why I like that Fisk is in YWF. I want to see Fisk versus Mocha Payne. But Fisk and COH, he just needs some bigger competition to make his, like, career worthwhile. But the other way you can go about him is, like, that running gag, that Fisk this, Fisk that. It's like using the word Fisk as to replace your everyday language. It's like Fisk iced tea, you know? It's like that shit happened, you know? So he can either continue to go the way of a monster or he could become a publicity joke. And I don't want him to become a joke, but it's like if you do become a joke, lose the mask, turn around, you know? So he has options, but nonetheless, I would say Fisk.
Okay, all right. Now with that, we're going to go into perhaps my favorite part of the interview, name association.
Okay.
Let's go through some names. Let's go through. Let's start it off first with Scott Adams.
Okay. First off with Scott Adams, he's a worthy opponent.
Worthy opponent.
He's a worthy opponent. He helped make a mid-card title mean something way more than it really would probably is being treated like right now. So the feud between me and Scott Adams both years in a row meant like that put that title on the map. Other than that, he needs to learn. He's kind of like KK. He has to learn the barriers of what's Call and what's not, and leave it at that. It's like if you're going to come into the Call world, talk about Call. Don't talk about anything else. So just needs to be professional about how he handles himself.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go with Kenyon Phoenix.
It's tough because it's like I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want the church to break up. But it's just that Sonny really, really was outshining Kenyon. And the truth is Kenyon's crazy, like the Kenyon Phoenix character, but I honestly just I can't help it. I miss Atticus Marks. The Atticus Marks character was just awesome. And I think that it's like, I think he needs to play more Jekyll and Hyde and just be like bipolar.
He's very good at that.
I know, but like if that was his complete package, if that's like if we didn't know if he was like Mankind, it's like, remember when Mick Foley would, like 1 week on Raw you would get Mankind, the other week you'd get Cactus Jack. Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted. It's like that's what I see when I look at this guy, but he won't embrace it, and it's like that could really help him. That could boost his career if 1 week if he had a Kenyon Phoenix attire, and then he also had the Atticus Marks attire, and then we didn't know which one we would get all the time. It would just help out so much. Okay. But that's my personal opinion.
All right. Let's go with AJ Young.
Travis says everybody deserves a second chance. So I'm going to say, AJ Young, you are getting a second chance, and you're doing a good job with it. Continuity in regards to a story, do you deserve it? No. But as a person, everybody deserves a second chance. It's like to constantly be reminded that AJ Young was just this manager. It's like, is that what you really want in Call? There's only one guy really pulling that off. That's Johnny Thunder. So I'm happy that AJ decided, let me take off the suit and tie. Let me put on. Let me lace up the boots. So I'm happy for him.
All right. Let's go with Ryan Carroll. Controversial guy.
I'm not gonna say controversial. It's just like he gets way too much. I don't even know if it's heat exactly. He just gets he gets treated badly. He's like the butt of too many jokes, and he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Let's go with M Accuracy, Steve, Patriot, whatever, or different person. I'm sorry.
Oh my God! No, well, you already blurted it all out. So, entertaining. I can sum him up in that one word. He's entertaining. He can give you dark and gloomy. He can give you a laugh. He can give you whatever you need. If you ask him to do it, he can give it to you.
Okay. Kevin Cross, or Crisis as he's previously known as.
Nice guy. Matter of fact, he just recently not only can you talk to this guy, but he's just like he's someone who's also very helpful in the development of up and coming guys. For example, I wanted a Tron for Ultimate Glory. He has personally made me my new Tron, which I'll be using. It's still in the works, but I have a link to it. I'll give it to you if you want to use it for an ad or whatever. I don't know, but like he hooked me up with the Tron, and I'm pretty sure, cheap plug, for all your Tron needs, go to Kevin Rodriguez. This guy will hook you up.
Okay.
He's good.
Yeah, he's really good. All right, Christian Gary, a.k.a. Garnet Court.
Okay, remember all that stuff I said about Ryan Carroll?
Yeah.
And how he didn't deserve it?
Mm-hmm.
Everything I said about Ryan Carroll is that this guy deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
So all the bullshit, all the negative things that people say about him, he deserves it. And to have beef with me, because one time I made, jokingly, I wasn't serious about this, I said in a comment of him holding his nephew, and this is completely legit, I was joking around. I was like, this was like me just giving a bad time. I didn't mean to hurt his feelings, but he takes it the wrong way. I basically left a comment on a photo of him holding his newborn nephew, and I said, dude, you literally look like you're about to rape this kid, because the look on his face literally looked scary to me. And he thought I was talking shit about his kid nephew. So he got butt hurt, and I know it's him. He decides to troll the shit out of my Ask FM account. Not only that, I created a like page on Facebook for Daniel Mars. He starts to troll the shit out of that. It's like, if you hate me so much, why are you even showing interest into my page? Why are you showing interest into my stuff? So I got to the point where I closed down my Ask FM account. I don't really do that anymore. And I'm one person who I have it now in me to not block people. But then there's Christian Gary. I block him. I don't want anything to do with him. Yet this guy somehow still turns around, finds my posts, shares them, and talks shit about me. So it's like, I'm going to clear the air right now and say about Christian Gary, about Garnet Court, about whatever Japanese name you use and call. Fuck you. Plain and simple.
Very well said.
And he just deserves anything he gets, so.
Alright, Justin Bateman.
I never got to really know the guy. I haven't talked to him in person. Some people say he's a really good guy. He's really helpful with the young talent, from what I've heard. But from experience, he's an asshole. They say he's an American Psycho. He's an American asshole. I don't know if that's in character, out of character, what. Just from whatever experience I've had with him, he's an asshole.
Alright, and we're going to go with the last one. I think you know where this is going. J-Crack. He's
creative. He definitely knows. I'm not going to say he knows his audience, but it's like he knows that people want more than the ordinary, and he wants to deliver that too. He wants to give you something that's out of the norm. So it's like if you win the title and you're just gonna cut a promo bragging about it and say, I love this business, I love this title, J-Crack's literally going to put 100 on that, not just say I love this title. He's going to actually love this title, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
So, point being, he's an entertainer, and he does his job well.
Okay, alright. Well, thank you for coming on. Oh, and one thing before you go, I want to let everyone know to go to Facebook and go to the Call Wrestling News Network page.
We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Quickly.
Okay, so, for those who don't know, Call Wrestling News Network, I want to say at least a year or two ago, was a page I created to unite all call feds. It was a place of pure promotion where you were allowed to just post your links of your new show, any archive video footage, whatever you wanted to post in relation to call. I just wanted to make sure that whoever was doing call, they got their views. They got the views they deserve. and I don't know if that was backstage politics with Call or just some trouble that I had with some people. It got to the point where I was like, you know what, you want to piss me off, everybody else is going to have to pay for it. So I closed the whole page down. And I had over 200 people in the group. And I know that seems small, but it was just like, it's Call. I mean, it's not as hot as it once was. So I started it fresh last year, no, not last year. I started it fresh earlier this year, and I just decided, you know what, people deserve it. They need this. But the idea now is I want to take it to the next step. I'm announcing it now. I've said it before, but I haven't really followed through. Is I'd like to make a joint partnership page on YouTube called Call Wrestling News Network, and it would host any super shows. It would host any extra footage from any Call Fed, and anyone is welcome to join it. I will openly share the email address, the password for it, so it's a joint account. And the main point of it isn't just to unite Call, but it's also to do this. It's so if there's a strike, your original page that you would air real content on doesn't get it. I get it. So, if you want to take a chance and upload something that you think might have copyright infringement type stuff in it, take a chance with my page first. If it does, then you know to edit it out before you upload it to your own. So that's the future for the Call Wrestling News Network.
All right. Well, can't wait to see the future of the Call Wrestling News Network and see what we got coming for 2015.
Right.
Thank you, Dave, for coming on.
Thank you.
It was really fun talk, and hopefully we'll have you back some later time. Talk more about what happens with Call Wrestling News Network.
All right.
And that wraps up my interview with the owner of the Call Wrestling News Network, David Benz, a.k.a. Daniel Mars. It was one hell of an interview. Speaking of one hell of an interview on the Call Wrestling News Network, David is interviewing me for the Call Wrestling News Network, just like he did for Sonny a few months ago, I can't remember, where it was a text interview. And right now on the Call Wrestling News Network page, he's opening for questions that you would like for me to answer. So if you are not part of the Call Wrestling News Network page already, go join, go to Facebook, go join the page, and go send your questions. What do you want to know? Give me some questions, people.